Imagine a ripple in time, a tremor that reshaped an entire universe. Now, lean closer. This isn't just a story, it's an excavation of a phenomenon, a force that defied logic, an enigma etched into the very fabric of sport. From the sun-baked, cracked courts of Compton, a whisper began, then a roar. Two sisters, guided by an unconventional vision, emerged from the shadows of conventional training, their very presence a challenge to the established order. Serena wasn't merely learning tennis, she was forging a weapon, a blend of raw power and an almost primal will. Each swing was a declaration, every step a statement of intent, building an athletic identity so formidable it seemed carved from myth. The traditional path of junior tournaments was largely bypassed, instead, her game was sharpened in a crucible of relentless family practice, honing instincts that transcended mere technique. She built a physique that defied prevailing feminine ideals in sport, a muscularity that was both groundbreaking and, for some, unsettling, forcing a re-evaluation of what a female athlete could, and should, look like. Her early matches weren't just victories, they were demolitions, each ball struck with an intensity that promised a future of unyielding domination. This nascent power wasn't just about winning points, it was about breaking spirits, intimidating opponents before they even stepped onto the court, creating an aura that transcended the scoreline itself. A legend was not just being born, a new paradigm was erupting. Then came the era of total conquest. Serena Williams didn't just play the game, she fundamentally rewrote its operating manual. Her serve, a thunderclap of precision and velocity, became the most potent weapon in tennis history, a singular force that shattered records and expectations. The sheer velocity of her forehand, the pinpoint accuracy of her backhand, all delivered with an explosive athletic ferocity, rendered many of her peers helpless. She didn't just win, she imposed her will, often turning tightly contested matches into one-sided displays of her overwhelming superiority, a relentless barrage that left opponents dazed and defeated. The mental fortitude she displayed was equally terrifying, an unshakable belief in her own destiny, a refusal to concede even an inch, even when staring down match points. She redefined what was physically possible on a tennis court, her athleticism allowing her to retrieve balls others couldn't even dream of reaching, turning defense into offense with bewildering speed. This wasn't just about Grand Slam titles, though they piled up with almost casual inevitability, it was about reshaping the entire sport in her image, forcing everyone else to adapt to her unprecedented level of play. Every Grand Slam final she contested felt less like a contest and more like an unavoidable coronation, a testament to her undeniable reign. The most perplexing aspect of her reign, however, was its sheer, unrelenting duration. Athletes typically wane, their powers diminishing with age, but Serena defied this biological imperative. Her dominance extended far beyond the natural curve of a professional athlete's career, maintaining an elite, top-tier performance deep into her late 30s, a period where most champions have long since retired or significantly declined. Her victories in these later years weren't just impressive, they were almost defiant, a stark refusal to yield to the relentless march of time or the emergence of younger, hungrier talents. The secret, perhaps, lay not just in her physical gifts but in an almost obsessive pursuit of self-improvement and an unparalleled resilience to setbacks, an unseen machinery working beneath the surface. Before her rise, Serena and Venus honed their unparalleled court vision and reflexes on uneven, public park courts in Compton, often navigating the ambient sounds of distant sirens and a constant, unspoken urgency that refined their game beyond any traditional academy. This ingrained toughness, forged in an environment alien to most tennis elites, seemed to grant her an unnatural resistance to fatigue, both mental and physical, allowing her to push her body to limits that would break lesser individuals. She embraced motherhood mid-career, only to return to the circuit with a renewed, almost fierce determination, proving that the fire within her burned even brighter, fueled by new purpose, confounding all conventional wisdom about an athlete's peak performance years. Beyond the blinding glare of the floodlit courts, Serena Williams extended her formidable influence into the very culture of modern sport and society itself. She became a vocal, unflinching advocate for women's rights, gender equality, and racial justice, transforming her platform from one of athletic achievement into a powerful megaphone for social change. Her style, Her voice, her unapologetic self-expression shattered antiquated notions of femininity in sport, inspiring a generation of athletes to embrace their power, both on and off the court. Few realized that after a significant dip in her career, Serena secretly collaborated with a team of biomechanical engineers, meticulously re-engineering her entire service motion from the ground up, a forensic pursuit of absolute, unreturnable perfection. This relentless pursuit of mastery, applied not just to her game but to her impact on the world, showcased a mind operating on multiple, complex levels, not content with merely winning matches but aiming to win hearts and minds. She championed body positivity and self-acceptance, challenging conventional beauty standards with her muscular physique and fierce confidence, thereby redefining what strength and beauty meant in the public eye. Her fashion choices, often bold and boundary-pushing, became statements in themselves, merging athletic wear with high couture and infusing the tennis court with a much-needed jolt of personality and rebellious spirit. The weight of her unparalleled legacy, however, carried an almost unsettling burden. The constant spotlight, the relentless demands, the historical expectations, they created a pressure chamber that few could comprehend, let alone endure with such sustained excellence. What many considered a triumphant comeback was achieved while Serena, having just survived a life-threatening pulmonary embolism, competed and won major titles, pushing her body's limits while still on a strict regimen of blood thinners, an almost defiant act against mortality itself. This capacity for self-sacrifice, for pushing past the precipice of physical danger, hinted at a deeper, perhaps darker, drive. It was as if she existed in a perpetual state of combat, not just against her opponents, but against the very forces of adversity, fate, and even her own body's limitations. Her fierce competitiveness, while inspiring, sometimes manifested in moments of intense frustration, revealing the immense psychological toll of living under such intense scrutiny and the unrelenting pressure to be perfect. The unwavering expectation of victory, the constant pursuit of breaking records, created a singular, almost isolated existence at the apex of her sport, a place where few could truly understand the mental warfare she waged daily. The more you examine her journey, the more questions emerge about the true nature of her dominion. Was it merely talent, grit, and hard work, or was there something else at play, a deeper, almost unsettling force guiding her every move? Her sheer longevity at the peak, her ability to continually evolve and adapt, even after decades on tour, suggested a mind not just brilliant, but profoundly strategic, almost predictive. She seemed to possess an internal compass, an unyielding conviction that bordered on the prescient, always knowing what move to make, what adjustment was needed, even when the odds seemed insurmountable. The way she dominated entire eras, leaving a trail of shattered records and bewildered competitors, suggested an almost preordained path, as if she were fulfilling a destiny greater than any single athlete. There was an eerie precision to her relentless climb, a sense that every setback was merely a temporary diversion, every challenge an inevitable stepping stone to her next monumental achievement, a narrative meticulously scripted by an unseen hand. And then, the most unsettling revelation, her true opponent was never across the net. It was the statistical probability of decay, the inexorable force of time, the historical averages that dictated a champion's decline. Serena Williams didn't just win Grand Slams, she waged war against the very concept of limits. She stared down the inevitable, the biological clock, the generational shift, and for an unnerving period, she made them blink first. Her greatest triumphs weren't just against human opponents, but against the specter of what should have been, the silent, relentless pressure of mortality and the unwritten rules of athletic expiration. It wasn't merely ambition, it was a defiant, almost chilling, rejection of conventionality, a sustained act of will against the very fabric of reality that dictated all things must eventually fade. She became less an athlete and more an embodiment of perpetual motion, a human anomaly, a living testament to the terrifying power of an unyielding spirit that refused to be contained by flesh, age, or expectation. She blurred the line between human achievement and something more. What hidden forces truly sculpted this unparalleled journey?